I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
How hungry are you? Welcome back. Today we are playing What Remains of Edith Finch, mostly because I have a new setup and I wanted to test things out without recording something in Night of the Woods and then potentially losing that progress, because that would be not great. So doing something with a whole new game, at least if I lose my progress, it's not in a game I've been playing for a while. I have not played this game before. I don't know what I'm doing.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Oh, this is like really plops you in. That is quite the house. This is like Ron Weasley type house.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Interesting. This is very atmospheric. What is this? Oh.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Oh, we didn't do that, did we?
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
That's cool. That would suck to lose
In
a
her will,
sibling.
my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
What?
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Huh. The Finches. Down or up? Down? Is this something? Oh, it's the flowers. I was like, is there something pink down there? Water sounded so close. Oh, we can't actually go down there. We can go here?
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Oh, is this
But
the...
now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
I have such a hard time not talking during games where there's like narration. I just want to talk and comment on things, and I don't know when I should and should not do that. Well, if this is the way to the house, I almost want to explore the other way, the way that was up.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Can I go back up there? That is a house. Does this go up the same path that we didn't take? A deer. Hi, buddy. Hi. Such pretty woods, though.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
So we can't really go this way? Oh, we can. The music and the atmosphere has a really calm feeling to it. So this is where we were before when we branched off. So we did fully explore it. Gives me some satisfaction. This is the kind of game where if this was a chunk that you could just like sit in for a while, I could see that being something that would be rather inviting sometimes. To just like sit and enjoy it. Very ambient noise. I also notice I have this urge to like duck around some of the logs and stuff. So we're learning about this family and this character. We don't know anything about this character even. And to have a house that is so unusual just begs us to learn more about it inherently. But there's also this somber feeling to it. We know that there's a dead brother.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
And I think an empty house implies something sad too. Like, why is it empty? This is nostalgia that doesn't feel the greatest. I'm sorry. What are you? Also, that has to be like the most stereotypical white chair I've ever seen. You. What is everything? You don't have a comment for this? I'm running into things because I'm not used to WASD. I plugged in a controller telling myself I'm used to controllers. I'll just use the controller. And then the game's like, no. I can't go to the other side. Okay, well, that exists. And I am running into everything I shouldn't. I just you can't not say something about that.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
I think that kids inherently, though, have like less words for things than adults, though, too. And that's not the fault of a kid. Kids just have less vocabulary for everything. And we had less time in our bodies to figure out, like, what do feelings feel like? Yet alone pair them with words and vocabulary and all that other shit. This is such an interesting house. Like, how is this structurally sound? I mean, I'm sure it's not. The sounds of the frogs are so cool. That's the kind of stuff that I could sit and just listen to for forever. But the missing children posters feel ominous.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
So, like, we get these little hints that there's this ominous air about the place, both through, like, the imagery of the house itself, but also what this character is saying. Also, only 17 is still technically a minor in a great deal of places. But it's... I guess when I think of going back home, I don't think of us only being 17, because I guess my initial picture is of us being an adult, technically. The ramp also gives me an image of someone who is disabled in some way. We don't usually have that in our house unless we're accommodating someone. Well, is this what the key is for?
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
You got a key, but it wasn't for the door? The conventional way of doing things? What are you... I know how to use hands, just like... don't click it. I was trying to click it and then drag.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
This is very good writing. Like, such personification of the house. Like, the house has ill intent. It's very sinister. So okay, we own this house now, which implies there's no other family who wants it or is alive. And there's not great memories here. Very sad memories or traumatic memories is what comes to mind. That also kind of implies that if it's our house, we could technically just break in. Like, it's not technically breaking and entering if it's our own house. I'm just saying Edith. I'm assuming our character's name is Edith. So are we getting in another way? We're not gonna, like, do the old school lift the garage door open kind of thing. Ooh, wind chimes. It's a pretty sound for me because of, like, my own personal history and background, but from what this character has told us, if we have all of these memories of this house being so sinister and foreboding, are these chimes a sad memory or a traumatic memory? Okay, that's also a way to get in.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Probably. A lot of things are probably easier when we were 11.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
So was that a long time ago? Your busted pipes and shit. This is a lot of soil. Gardening books. So someone really loved to garden. And, like, renovate the house. Like, someone liked to take care of the house. We don't have all this stuff around our house for no reason. And tools. It's like someone was very handy. They left the car. I guess another interesting part about this house is that we don't have this, like, massive house unless there's a lot of people in this family. So it's not just that Edith left and, like, potentially other family members with her. I mean, like, I would hope she didn't leave alone, but this house being so big and also so empty also implies that everybody in this family left. And how? Like, what happened?
For the first time in years.
Eddie, Dawn, Lewis, Milton, Edith. So, like, this is a lot of people to just be gone. Since 2010. I don't know when the game came out or when the game is set, but I'm assuming it's sometime after 2010.
I felt like I was home.
It's like a lot of conflicting feelings about the house being very foreboding, but also home. Because when I hear the word home, I think of it being good feelings. But again, if we come from a home that doesn't have the same feelings that I may have had growing up, home may not have the same, we may use the same word, but it may not have the same connotation. So, like, a lot of cooking.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Kind of sounds fake. We have a lot of cooking books, a lot of dishes, so, like, I guess that would make sense for, like, a huge family. I have enough dishes. That's a lot of books. I have to have enough dishes for a larger family. This is a lot of canned tuna.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Oh, that explains the salmon. Is this a real recipe for apple pie? Asking for a friend, of course. Holy shit, this is like a massive stove. Stove. I get them mixed up. This is a lot of cans. So why are we here? Like, are we looking for closure?
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Which implies that something happened when we left.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Usually when we talk about stuff like that, it's natural disasters. Like Pompeii and stuff like that. So one person was in a wheelchair, which explains the ramp out front. Eddie.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Okay. With oxygen, and the wheelchair, the ramp. So is there a kid too for the plastic pink dishware? Because we don't use that for, like, as adults. I'm running into a table. If there's plenty of other dishware available, and like there is in the kitchen.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. Normal is such an interesting term because it depends on, like, our own personal perspectives, because normal just means average. We could say that this house itself is abnormal because it looks like something out of Harry Potter. It's built not to code. I'm not an architect or city code person, but I can say it's probably not to code. So inherently the house is abnormal. The amount of tuna cans we could say is abnormal. So, like, how we define normal is going to depend on our own personal experiences. So if we grew up in this home, how we define normal might be different than someone else's. So how we define a normal amount of books in the home, right, is might be different than someone else's. Or a normal amount of rooms stacked in a house might be different than someone else's. Or tuna cans. I just think that's such an interesting comment.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house after it sank.
Sank? It's so cool what the letters do. Also, sank? What the fuck? I wasn't expecting a comment about the fireplace. Like, how hard should I be looking at stuff? I guess not that hard. Just, like, stare intently at every object in the house until I hear a story. Oh, there's a basement and a box. What's in the box? Oh, it's...
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
We have this narrator who talks to us as though we know who these people are. Like, oh, built it for Barbara. Of course, like we know who Barbara is. So we can go downstairs. I'm not saying that's a bad way of doing storytelling. It's just sometimes different than how it usually happens.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Oh shit, that's your brother. All the wanted posters. Or not wanted, missing. I suppose they're kind of the same thing. Different feeling though. Oh, the Finch on the door.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
But what happened on that last night? Whoa! That's a lot of books, first off. Like, that's very much a thing. But also, you have a door that's locked and, like, is that, like, insulation foamed? Why were you trying to keep in or out? And can I open it? Oh, you don't?
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Oh. You don't open it. You just look. What's the point of a library if you can't get in there? You could also... How do I get out of this? Edith? Oh. It also feels really sad to have, like, your family... I mean, I guess I can see being buried, if you want to say that way. Buried with things that you love. Like, that's something that's been done for ages, right? But to have it be so locked up and distant to where, like, the people who are living can't get there, to be close to the people who are gone, that feels sad to me. Oh, the chair for Edie. So, up or down? Let's try this door first. I feel like that's a good option.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Okay. I like how her character says that, like, she always listened to her mom.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
Granted, we don't know enough about this character.
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Fuck. We don't know enough about this character to know if they're rebellious, but her grandmother certainly is. So that's why the door is locked up. Like, this character's mom is grieving the loss of a child. And it's not unusual to, like, keep a room the way it was when someone passed away. It's like, I'm gonna preserve their memory. But it almost sounds like the mom and the grandma had different ways of grieving. Because the mom was like, I want to preserve this. I want to try to keep it perfect. And the grandma was like, I want to be closer to them. That's how I think of it when I imagine these things. Well, the letters went this way. Calvin and Sam. So all the doors have this kind of thing on them with the foam too. I mean, that's really sealing a door. You have to go to great lengths for that. Oh. With dates on it. It's like 11. Are these all like memorials? Okay, so wait. If the mom sealed these rooms, are these all like individual memorial rooms? Well, that's sad.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
The way that's phrased makes it sound like he was like literally sharing it with like a body, and I don't think that's how it was intended. So many books in this house. Sven and Edie. So Sven was the great-grandfather who built the house for Barbara, and Edie is the grandmother.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
So this is a different Edie than our grandmother. So many pictures, too. Like, so many memories.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Why? She famous? Oh my god, how many stairs, or how many floors are there? Oh, Barbara.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
I think it's really hard to be popular and then not, especially as a kid, because then I think there'd be a lot of confusion about, like, well, why?
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
I don't think I've heard a lot of people with the name Odin that probably don't live in a part of the world where it's popular.
Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
The mom locked a lot of things. So we can't go into any of those rooms. What about over here? Are those tracks on the floor? Going into a shark? Molly. 10.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Yeah, there's that. So many children who died. Oof.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Why is this?
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
I was gonna ask, why is this like one of the only ones not locked? So many children. Like the train, and the whale.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
In this house, I would believe it. "20,000 Leagues Under the Sea."
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Jesus.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
I mean, Kitty, if we're literally locking things away in our house, that's like the epitome of repressing things on a very physical level.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
The missing brother. I mean, I could see the mom locking stuff away if she thought that Milton finding things out or Milton exploring things was part of the reason why he's gone.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
Reading this, that implies that this is meant for someone else.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Is this Molly's room?
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Well, hopefully we don't get locked in a room. Like, that's where I hope it leads. Yeah, Molly's room.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
What an interesting way to grow up, to literally see all of your dead relatives, like, behind glass, basically. I mean, I think we usually have some amount of souvenirs or some amount of storytelling that happens in our families from relatives or people who have passed away, but to see it so preserved in this way, it feels very different. It feels, I don't know. I think the emotions that would be tied to it would be so individualistic and depending on like how the family talked about these other family members and the stories that they told, because we have learned that the grandmother told like these stories about the logs, for example, and Edith mentioned that there's a story for everything. So depending on the stories that were told about these other family members, I think that would shape the emotions that kind of came with these peepholes, because at a certain point I think you'd probably feel like you know these people even though you don't. So is there a connection that you feel like you have with these bedrooms, kind of like how she talked about Molly? I don't know. Is this a diary?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
When you say you're gonna be gone soon, like, is that a illness thing? No, don't eat the gerbil food. Oh, she is only 10. Ugh. That's not the fish either. This is bamboo. Ugh. Is it an illness thing or like a we're exaggerating, potentially, because we're 10.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Can we just, like, get a snack from the kitchen?
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
The controller vibrated. Maybe I can do the controller. Oh my gosh, now I can do the controller. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Then how do I?
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Where is your gerbil? Is your gerbil okay? Are you gonna be okay? I mean, we know that she's not, but... Ooh. I can zoom in. I'm glad I can see the family tree, but how do I select?
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
How hungry are you? Child. What? Please go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. What am I getting caught on? Go to sleep, please. Please go to sleep. Oh, honey. Oh, we can go in here. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be in here. Oh, it's a bathroom. Oh, there are probably terrible things for a child to eat in a bathroom. Like toothpaste. They did a really good job with like the height here. I'm not used to being at sink level in a bathroom.
I kept eating and eating.
Child, no, no. Oh. What is it? Pica, I think it is, where you eat like non-food things. Oh, honey. Oh no, this is poisonous. Don't.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Oh no, the holly. Nope, nope. Nope. Oh, that'll do it.
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Oh no.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
No.
I reached out for her.
Oh, thank God. Nope. Nope.
And suddenly, I was a cat.
How realistic is this diary? Or does holly or mistletoe or whatever that is make you see things that aren't quite realistic? Oh, well, she'd have to be alive to write the diary.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing with this. Where are you? Up there. What? Am I jumping on the birdhouse? Nope.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
Well, yeah, I mean, where? Over there? No. Oh, down here. feel like this is gonna end well. I mean, I know it won't, but like, you know. Oops. It's a different level of not ending well.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Is that us growling? Or a different cat growling? Where am I jumping? This house is massive.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
And you weren't? Where? Is this a statue? Where did the bird go? Oh.
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Oh no.
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
What? Where are we hearing this?
Rabbits.
Are they pesky and rascally? Hi, rabbits. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing with you. Oh. I'm an awful owl.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
What are we finding that's bigger?
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
I don't think this is gonna end well for you, Molly. I just expected it to end for some reason. It didn't. This is like when video games first come out sometimes and their graphics like just aren't great.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Oh. What weird things do you have in your water? What am I chasing? Oh.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Why is there a seal in fresh water? Oh, that's right. They're near water. There's water on the other side of that thing. Are they near the ocean?
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh. I missed. I'm an awful shark. Hey, buddy. Sorry, but I missed.
I
Oh,
grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
what are you now? Oh, we're still something. What are we? Are we a snake? Are we a squid? Oh, okay.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Do we want them? Hi, bird. I feel like being here is a bad idea for you. Is it a bad idea to knock the bucket over? Are we gonna go for people? This child has a very vivid imagination.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Did we? And then I just knock him over? Nope. The Christmas music here is very off-putting.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The text. Sorry, stool. Wow. Okay, Molly. Cool. Okay. Hello. Oh.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam
A
towards it.
Snickers bar?
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
This feels like if a child watched the Venom movie. Is this your toilet? This looks like your toilet. I'm all kinds of discombobulated.
I got
Yes.
closer and closer.
This has to be a dream. I mean, the window was open. It has to be a dream, though, because she has to have been alive to write it. And also, like, you know, the content. Oh, that turn. I'm assuming I have to get up there. Oh.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Please don't eat holly or mistletoe.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
That's fair. No, that's the wrong one.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Was it her sister? Her child? Sanjay, why are you disconnected? Oh, if you're married in, that must be what it is. Because Sven would be married in, I'm assuming. So, yeah. That would be her daughter. If I'm reading that right. Oh, like, I'm not doing this right now. Oh, I am.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
Yeah,
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past.
I gathered that based on everything
So,
being locked up.
When we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
I mean, that makes sense.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
This is a lot of bird cages. Are these also family members in bird cages? As Finches, I suppose, could be. Berkeley? Or are these literal birds? Literal finches. I think they're literal finches. The names aren't the same. Bob. Bob's a snake! One of these things just doesn't belong here. That is an old TV. Mole man beneath the Finch house.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house.
Yeah.
My mom was furious.
No.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
I just put that together. Ugh.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Molly Concepts. I mean, this sounds like Edie from what we know. Built 1973. Sven Finch. Or, yeah, Finch.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed.
I knew
She
that.
could have, but she didn't.
I knew that thing out there was something. Dragon kills Finch. It's like the same one that built the house? No. The original house builder is someone else.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
I mean, we could say that potentially trying to be more carefree or trying to like have more acceptance or letting things go may make it so you're not carrying the world on your shoulders. But if Edith's mom tried to like carry the world on her not the world, but like this family's world on her shoulders, maybe that made her seem like the older one. Oof. This is kind of hard, like the medical stuff. We usually don't have medical stuff unless something not so great is going on.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
I wonder why that is.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Like the ones that we're actually wearing? Oh, all the hands. So like the grandma, like Edie has more of this feeling of like, I want to remember things. I want to like hold on to them. I want them to have a special place in my heart. Whereas the mom is like, I want to lock them away, pretend they didn't happen.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Family curse.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house,
What?
hoping to leave the curse behind.
What?
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
So Odin was the one who originally built the house, and then it sank, and then Sven rebuilt it, and the fireplace is from the original bricks. What? Okay.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island.
Okay. This is just what we're doing now.
Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Family cemetery. I guess it depends on how you define a cemetery. Is a cemetery the rooms that have been untouched? Or is a cemetery where the body is? So is it more about the objects we leave behind and the memories attached to those objects, or is it about our body?
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
And then it just repeats.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
So something's wrong with this family, or there's the feeling of that. Sometimes we can have this attitude too of a self-fulfilling prophecy, this attitude that if I go into something, a self-fulfilling prophecy is this idea that if I go into something assuming that it's negative, then it'll probably be negative because I'm going to notice more of the negative things that happen. And I wonder if that's a bit of what's happening here. It's hard to tell though, because we realistically do not know much about this family. But I feel like this is a good place to stop. It's a little bit of an introduction to the game. I really wanted to try something slightly different to test out how everything is going with the new setup. This is such an interesting, focusing on this game and like what we've seen so far. This is so interesting in general. Like, it kind of challenges our view on what we consider to be normal. Because again, normal is just an average. And that's why cultures all have different perspectives and views on things, because what is considered average in every culture is going to be different. And so we have a family where if you get a family that all lives together, that what is normal in that family is going to be potentially different than what is normal in the rest of the community. And that seems to be what we have here. This family that all seems to have lived together, and so their version of what is normal for a lot of these things potentially is different, and how that kind of shapes how we see so many things. And family has a great impact on us and like how we see the world, because when we are growing up, it's a bit like whatever we learn from our family is what we think the rest of the world is like, until we maybe like visit a friend, and then we go to that friend's house, we're like, your family's weird, and then we visit maybe another friend and we go to their house and we think, well, your family's weird. And then eventually we get to this point where we're like, oh, well, maybe my family's weird, because we just have to have enough exposure to other people and other families, cultures, I don't know, to start to realize that maybe our family isn't the only way of doing it. Because otherwise we have no way of knowing that the rest of the world doesn't do things like our family. And so when we have a family that's so big and we all live together, it may be harder to have that experience of realizing that maybe there are other ways to do things or other perspectives or things like that. And so I think that's a really interesting overall concept about this game. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I'm going to finish this, and I'm also going to finish the other games that I'm playing. This is just a nice way to have a small segue. And I will see you guys in the next video.